And of course, again, it's not unusual that they could be in 2 different rooms. So
A ladle.
So you could take it from that the ladle is for water.
Yeah. Or soup.
Like I said, they're very basic implements, but I think that's the whole point. Is that like the druidic magic is like very simple components to have a more exaggerated output, you know? And for instance,
I can't take it. There seems to be some kind of invisible barrier over the bowl.
So that's either a sheep's bladder or a bellows. Could potentially be both. And he seems to think there's a barrier blocking him from doing that.
A small shovel.
Yeah.
I can't take
So
it.
I think if I remember correctly, I think we have like so we have to get the shovel there, so that's obviously for earth, but the bellows actually contains the air, if you get me. So
Yeah.
So in a sense where like you have the actual, so we say the implements and then the materials. Whereas I think you have to get the implement first that will allow you to access the material. I think that's the way it's working in this part of the puzzle. Because you can see now there we have
the air. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's water. Clear water.
So if we didn't have that ladle, for example, when we try and pick up the water, like Halligan will just say, we can't, I can't pick it up.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a flint.
And now we have 2 pieces of flint. So that will spark the fire first. So that ticks that box. So now it's trying to find basically the rest of them now in the other randomized rooms. Case in point.
For some reason, I can't take any soil. There seems to be some kind of invisible barrier over the bowl.
Okay, so yeah, literally we use the implement that was designed for it, and we can pick up soil in. Yeah.
It looks like dough.
It does, doesn't it? It looks like you're just picking up horseshit.
Yeah.
A shovel filled with soil from the container.
Now I think because and there you go. There's the.
These are quite old-fashioned bellows.
So yeah, you have a bellows, and now you can go back and pick up the the sack of air you have. Then you just have to go and find that room again. But again, because randomized, there's an even chance you're going to get it again. So if I remember correctly, I think there's a room basically where that number of that pattern of switches we have in that room. Once we set it to them, we get all these as it were, druidic items first. And then if you press the switches then to a certain combination, that brings you to the actual temple that we need to use them in. So that's your kind of way of knowing, okay, I need to find these first and then go from there. So now that we have the bellows, we can suck the air out.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's it. So now that we have all the materials that we need, we can proceed then to the temple. Panic running. I just want to point out, by the way, that in his overcoat, he's carrying a ladle of water, a spoon of soil, and a bellows that is currently held. like again, there will be a study done on who has the best pockets in video games, but this guy is front running so far.
But he also has a big coat and his trouser pockets. Melanie just had her jeans, which were tough.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, I think Melanie will have some discussion about that one as well. So
I can't. I don't know why, but I can't take anything from the altar.
So now this is
There's a golden
basically the final puzzle of the game. Okay,
Okay.
So we have to get this gold key. There's a magical barrier blocking it, right? So it will come apparent now, but there are 4 chambers in this room, all basically attuned to a certain element. And I think when I start showing you some of the chambers, they'll become quite evident.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Clearly for
That
swimming.
doesn't work.
Yes.
That looks like a cage.
Right then. So that looks like a tinderbox. So that one is clearly meant to be for fire.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Now the symbols are the clue there, and the symbols are intuitive enough. In fairness, so yeah. So obviously with the kind of fumes coming off it, it obviously looks like fire. So that's obviously kind of obvious in of itself.
That looks like a cage.
So then we basically just go around the rest of the chambers and make sure we have the right one, make sure we have the right element in the cage, basically.
Cool. And then we
So
should be able to grab the key from the magic altar.
exactly. So the 3 lines flat like that. If you kind of imagine it, that basically is meant to be soil. It's earth.
Right.
The way I'd look at it is think of it like the solid, liquid, and gas phases. Because like naturally, like there's no movement, there's nothing happening if it's solid. There's no energy going through it. Yet if it starts getting wavy, it's liquid, and if it's more like outward, it's gas. That's the best way to interpret the symbols. And then basically fire is like all 3 of them combined almost, where you're transforming one into the other, which is fair enough. That's kind of the way the druid stuff is set up.
I can't see any. That won't help either.
So that's me there trying to use the gas on what is clearly supposed to be the liquid chamber. There we go. And then there should be one more after this. So I went to the wrong one there, but that's the soil one, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, the camera angles can be a bit confusing in this as well, because it just suddenly flips the room on you as well. So
Like group Fandango only works.
yeah, but at least with Fandango, you're able to actually move yourself around. You have to go by the clicks on this one.
Yeah.
And there's our firebox again. So there you go. That one is obviously that's for gas. So the air goes into that one. Okay then.
So any.
Not quite yet. We're still missing something. So you can see the barrier still up around the key. So we have the elements in right.
I don't know why, but that must be some sort of altar.
But the next part is now trying to basically activate all 4 of them. You can see why Halligan is scratching his head going, I don't fucking know what to do here. I'm a confused boy. So you notice there actually there's windows. Yeah. Strange noise there attached to it. So you notice there now the soil is now being lit, as is the so now the fire, the heat is now transferred to all the crucibles.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
We just locate the window for all of these.
Yeah, so each chamber seems to have a window, which is interesting. I wonder, is that by design? a door there. That is presumably our next place to go. Okay, interesting sound effect there. So there's a reason I'm doing this, by the way, and I will explain. It will become apparent in a moment because I did notice I must have taken a bit of a cut there, so I have already got the key. Basically all the other tinderboxes had the light. So now that they're lit, the key was released.
Right.
There's a megalith outside in front of the window.
So it was by looking at the window they all got lit.
No, it wasn't. It was just like you had to transfer the fire over to each one. I think it eventually did. You had to get a torch basically and light each one of the tinder boxes. So then the key got released and we get down to the second chamber. So I think it might become apparent now as I'm coming down these stairs, but so now we have to do basically the same puzzle again, but with an extra level of complexity.
Oh god.
Yeah. So, but obviously we don't have our constituents, so it's going to be a little bit different. So there are some slits on the wall here, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
again, could have just looked like terrible decoration, but okay.
They do, yeah. They don't really stand out.
A stone plate. There's a symbol on
Okay.
it.
Right. Is that your air symbol?
That'd be air, yeah. There's an earth one.
Earth.
Yeah.
A stone plate. There's a symbol.
And you have to make sure to catch all these ones. So as a bit of a clue, there's 8 in total to collect of these stone plates.
So, me playing this myself would have just been like, I'm fucking walking down these steps again. What the fuck?
Again, it's quite jarring just seeing the character just jut down the stairs the way he is. It's quite amusing, actually.
Like to have an entire sequence where you're walking down the stairs and to have him not be able to walk down the stairs.
I know, I find it quite amusing, to be honest. I think it adds a lot of character, the fact that he's not able to bend his knees while going downstairs. I relate to him in some way. Okay, so we have our collection of stone plates here. So, you notice there that there's a kind of a natural number of these plates. We don't have 2 of everything, is the thing, right? We have an uneven number of these plates, which we'll factor into it now in a moment. Of course, the dramatic music is kicked in once again for this occasion. Now, so what do we have here now? We have a similar setup.
It won't work. Something is preventing me from taking the
So that's the staff that Sir Stan was using in the ritual. So we now have to try and take that before he gets here. So here's the puzzle, right? Yeah, it's a very small staff. He's overcompensating.
Yes.
So that's where our crucibles would be.
Yeah.
And then there's a stone behind it.
Oh, and we've got those stones there from outside the window.
Yes, exactly. So remember when I was looking at the windows, there was a sound effect to each one.
Yes. Yeah.
So the whole point was essentially that each crucible, once you have the right ones lined up, basically, when you look at the window and whatever you hear, that's the stone panel that stone panel to put behind the as it were where the crucible would be. Which is also why we don't have like 2 of everything, because there's only you only heard you heard air twice, you know?
Yeah.
And you heard only water once, and there was something with absolutely no sound effect at all. So the majority of this puzzle is trying to figure out basically, obviously you have to have the right pairs. So the earth crucible we had there had like the sound of air behind it, kind of whistling. But the key part is actually putting them in the right places. So when you come into the room, it is literally the same layout as what's above. So when you
Yeah.
come in, the fire, like, one has to be across the way because that's what you saw first on the camera angle.
Yeah. That's so
Um,
annoying.
it is a bit annoying in fairness. Now, as far as I know, I do think it is literally working from like cardinal direction. So like if fire is one place, I think it's like earth, liquid, gas all around it. But again, the tricky part here is trying to figure out which one is which. So if you weren't sure, you could always go back up to the room above and try and figure out from there basically where the sound was. And also in which direction they're coming from. Now, because I don't think the fire one had a sound effect, I think. Or if it did, it was just the sound of the fire crackling. So I think that's supposed to infer that basically the fires are paired together.
Right.
Or at least I think that's where it's going. We'll know now in a minute if it worked. So you can see there the magical
Very
barrier is
cool.
still set up. So that did not work as intended. So again, the part of the puzzle is trying to get the pairs to match up properly and then having them in the right cardinal directions. So if you think you have the right pairs, which chances are you probably do, the next part is trying to make sure you have them lined up the right way. And it could be just that you have two places flipped and just switch them
Yeah.
back around, you're okay.
If it's the two fire ones flipped, I swear to God.
No, it's more so the actual direction that they're pointing, more so.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not. I wouldn't. I'm expecting the worst with this game.
Yeah, I don't blame you in that. I really, really don't. Because
Like
like,
I know it's not Sierra, but like it is giving me Sierra vibes.
yeah. In fairness, if this is a Sierra, in fairness, with some Sierra games, they have like puzzles like this designed well. Like we played Graveyard Light, they've done stuff like this, which is good. Um, but it is purely the like you just have them in the wrong places. That's all it is. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to there's no way of telling you have the right one or not. Like normally, if you have it in the right place, you'd hear a clicking noise or something. But the game doesn't give you an obvious cue to that. It's just basically expecting you to be able to match up, to get the right perspectives, basically, which is um generous is the best way to describe it. Because yeah, because clearly we're able to tell from your obvious camera angles which one is in the cardinal directions. Because obviously you told us where north was to begin with. So you can see why people's feedback on this game was that it was a bit needlessly complicated for certain puzzles. So if when you're doing something like this, you do kind of have to give the player a bit of a hand
There's
up
a symbol on it.
for this. Like this is where like I think to take the sting out of this puzzle, you'd have one of the plates in place already. Like you'd have like the fire one would be in place already, so you'd know, okay, you can base the rest of you base the rest of the plates around one fixed position. But you literally don't know which is which, you know?